be fine. We'll be
I don't
fine.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
She might be a little
Awkward
intimidated by
moments.
that suave jacket there.
No, trust me, I'd be the one that would be intimidated.
Yeah,
I would be the one. I promise you that.
she is pretty scary.
She's
Wait.
stunning.
Stop
I
it.
think everybody would agree with that.
I don't.
Lindsay, very stunning. How are you today?
I am well. I'm excited to be here. I've got my tea so I don't fall asleep.
Tea?
I was gonna say, is that sleepy time tea so you can nod out as soon as we're off?
What? No. No, not at all.
He shall nod out during the show.
During it, yes.
It's like back
We're
in my wine days.
overachievers here. And Maven filling in once more for Devon Dudley. How are you today?
I am well. I am good. Thank you guys for having me again. Once again, we wish you a speedy recovery, Devon. Although I did get flooded with messages last week. People were like, Table Talk's never been better. My gosh, Devon, never come back. You know, Maven's the best fill-in. No, I'm kidding.
Man, you got
Devon,
the sweetest family members. You really did.
It was just me sending it to myself over and over.
That's all right. Burner accounts. It's all right. You know.
Bingo.
Bingo. Anybody wondering about Devon's situation? He is out of the hospital, seemingly in good spirits, anxious to. He told me that he's in pain, but it wasn't the pain he was going through day by day for the last couple of years. So that right there already put him a step in the right direction, and he'll be back in action probably, I think, in 2-3 weeks' time. So maybe continued thanks to you for filling in.
I'm having a blast, guys. I never done anything like this. So I obviously appreciate you two for giving me the opportunity, giving me a little bit of a platform. I know, you know, whenever I do signings or podcasts or anything, everybody's always like, you fell off. You don't do stuff like this anymore. So the chance to be around the fans and I'm, you know, talking to the fans again, it's something that I value and I cherish. So thank you both.
That's awesome. Kyle already writing in saying, hi, Kyle of Green Bay, met you last year.
Oh, he was at Hornswoggle show. Yes. It's a fun show. And the fans in Green Bay, and this is mid-pandemic, and they were as live and as excited as any fans I've ever been around. I had a blast.
Yeah, always a good city, good area for wrestling fans there. With that said, our guest is connecting backstage. I remember watching this gentleman as a part of the Natural Born Thrillers.
Oh, yeah.
WCW. You saw him in WWE. He's obviously taken over Mexico. And I just learned of his newest profession, which is awesome. We're going to get more details on that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Table Talk. The one and only Mark JINDRAK, everybody.
Welcome.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Marky?
I had a little technical difficulties. Disregard all the messages I just sent you, Maven.
No, listen, you sent me, and once I didn't see you, I was waiting like for 3 minutes, and I was like, Lindsay and Mo, like, this is y'all's show. Where are you guys at? I never hit enter studio.
I figured it out.
I'm not the one.
I saw the email, so we're here. I'm here. So
I had to pass you off to Mo and be like, Mo, get this, send this over to this guy.
It's not the first time, and it won't be the last time. No worries. I'm just happy you were able to connect. Nothing worse than when somebody, like, I hate calling him out, but the Boogeyman had such an old smartphone that no matter what I tried, we could not get him on this stream.
Man.
That's right.
Man. Well, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm not the Boogeyman.
Welcome. Thank you for your time. And I just teased your career, your new career. Tell us about it.
Oh, well, I live here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I've always had a big passion for sports cards. You know, I was little, I collected baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards, everything. And basically, when I started wrestling and stuff like that, I didn't really collect anymore. But after wrestling, got all this free time in my hands, so I started picking up the hobby again. And it led during the pandemic, there was a big boom in sports cards. So, I basically just got involved in that. And then the company I work for here, we professionally grade cards, grade and authenticate sports cards. So, I do it for a job, and little did they know I'd probably do it for free. So they don't have to pay me.
Don't tell them that.
Yeah, so that's basically what I do here, and just as a collector in general, like I love the hobby and everything. So it's just I just love it's so under it's such a big thing going to work every day and doing what you love to do. Usually on Sundays, you get those even wrestling. I used to get those those like the day before I had to go on a trip. I'd be like, oh damn, like those butterflies.
I believe they're called like the Monday blues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even on Sunday, like right around 3:30, 4 o'clock, it hits the average person. Yeah.
The Sunday scaries.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
For us in wrestling, we go on those house shows like on the Thursday night. We know you got to leave on Friday and go on Saturday. It sucked.
Mark, so. I was in the worst mood all day Thursday.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I knew I had to finish. Not only would I have to finish up laundry, but then I would have to get to the gym, finish up anything around the house, and then get to bed early because I would have to. We'd be on the first flight out, so for me that meant sometimes leaving my house at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So it sucked, and what sucked too was everybody. We wrestled on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, all the good things, all during the week when you got the whack days off, Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. People are like, yeah, man, this party's gonna be fucking awesome on Friday and Saturday. Like, nope, won't be there.
Hey, Mark, we still managed to have fun on the road.
Oh,
we still managed to have a good time.
Yeah, so good a time. I had a good time out of Evolution.
Yeah, we'll get to that definitely.
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know Mark's career, you came up, obviously, during, I would say, one of the most talented generations. We were talking to Brian Myers last week, and it hit me that at one time in OVW, you had Randy Orton, Batista, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar. Now, if you look back, that's, I would say, 80% of the pay-per-view main eventers for the last 20 years.
Pretty much, yeah. It was crazy.
But before that, you came from the power plant. Tell us a little bit about your time there.
The power plant was it was pretty crazy. The big thing about the power plant was the 3-day tryout. And I was playing college basketball and stuff, and basically, when I had the chance to try out in Atlanta, I think it was 1997, maybe 1998, somewhere around there. I tried out with like 26 other people, and by day 2 it was only me and like 2 other guys. So basically the tryout was super difficult. But we're like our group, our whole group that produced a lot of people from TV on WCW.
Oh yeah.
Like I think in our power plant at one time it was me, Chuck Palumbo, Johnny the Bull, Sean O'Hare,
Mike Sanders,
Alan Funk, Elix Skipper, Reno, Sean Stasiak, Meat, yeah, Meat.
That's talent. And Mo, you remember those late 90s wars?
Oh yeah.
This is when I was still in college, and I was watching JINDRAK and all these guys he just mentioned, and you really thought the Natural Born Thrillers. You didn't know where WCW was going to take it. Obviously, we didn't know what Vince's plans were with WWF at the time, but you knew that stable of talent that he had was going to do something. And for anybody that doesn't know JINDRAK, and he'll be humble all day long, but we have the best natural athlete I've ever seen in my life on this panel. Mark, you want to tell them the story about LA?
Well, yeah. And what I used to do is anytime we go to these arenas, Randy Orton and I, we'd and a lot of times Maven was along for the ride too. We'd go.
Was he the third wheel?
Maven wasn't competing.
We walk around the arenas and stuff, and I don't know. I just, for some reason, I used to jump so high. Like I jumped high in like high school and college, but like around like my mid-20s, I started jumping like ridiculously high. And my grandfather, it makes sense because my grandfather was a big high jumper and stuff back in his day and stuff. And so I guess it's in my genes. But yeah, we go to these arenas and stuff, and I'd see things on the ceiling and stuff, or hanging from the side of the walls and stuff. And people would challenge me to go up and touch it. And one time Orton and I were walking around the Staples Center, and we saw this thing like hanging up on the ceiling. And we were just standing there, and we're looking at it, and he said, "JINDRAK, you think you can touch that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, probably. I don't know. It looks pretty high, but probably." He's like, "Do it." I'm like, "I don't know. I don't really feel like doing it." And at that time, like, there's getting out of the writers' meeting, like the whole office, like, Vince and Shane and all the writers and, all the wrestlers. And you had all the people marking out behind the office, trying to get can't get a word about my character. So there's a bunch of people in the hallway, and then Orton, said to Shane McMahon would always love, like, feats of athleticism and stuff. So basically, I got pretty much conned into doing it. Like, they said, can you do it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And so, I mean, it looked ridiculously high. I'm not gonna lie, it looked ridiculously high.
It was every bit of 12 feet. It was about 12 feet.
It was 12 feet 2 inches.
Whoa.
And I jumped. The first time I jumped, I jumped. My finger, I felt it like kind of whiz by. It was metal. It was like a metal bar. I felt it. And I was like, oh my God, I can touch it. I can. And once you know you can do something, you just have to do it. And so the second jump, I did it. I touched it, and everyone went fucking crazy and shit. And that was just like, things like that. Like, there's always a great debate about the drop kicks. Maven, you're always in the drop kick conversation for best drop kick.
Rightfully so.
I just love.
Very humble Maven is.
I love like posting.
It's my third best trait, Mo. This is my third best trait.
I love posting these little these videos on Twitter and stuff with these drop kicks I was doing in Mexico and stuff. It really just gets people like all fired up. I'll put best drop kick in the world, and people will, don't sleep on jumping Jim Brunzell. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with jumping Jim. Jumping Jim.
Seriously.
You're talking about an elite athlete, and you're talking about jumping Jim. Jumping Jim, don't sleep on jumping. I fucking went to sleep on him long ago.
Mo, I've heard stories about JINDRAK going to and playing in these tournaments, these celebrity like basketball tournaments.
Yeah.
And all these brothers are out there who can ball, and then Mark comes and he's just dunking on everybody, and he's a hell of an athlete. Well, and I gladly give it up.
Did you know this, Maven? When here's a fun fact. In 2006, I was a 2-sport video game athlete because I was in Raw versus SmackDown. And when I got released from WWE, later on that month in July, and it was funny, like earlier that year, Kurt Angle and I and Luther Reigns wrestled Big Show 3-on-1 in the Gwinnett Civic Center in Atlanta, Georgia. So when I got released from WWE,
just down the road from me, yeah,
exactly. When I got released from WWE, I got released July 5th, exactly July 5th. And
we got released on the same day.
We were in Sacramento.
Got released on the same day.
Remember we were in Sacramento? You and I were in Sacramento and having a little
TV.
lunch. Yeah, we weren't doing shit on TV, and I was like a sign, like,
nothing.
Man, ain't gonna be long now.
We were both off. We got released the exact same day.
Yeah,
on a Monday. They released us the next day. Yeah.
Wow.
So what video game were you? What video game were you in?
Second, Mark. So later on that month, the N1 mixtape tour was coming through Atlanta, July, like the end of July. So I said, "Fuck it." I went, and the object of that thing was that they had all these courts on the outside, like literally 20, 30 courts. Yeah, and everyone would get a number. It was either shirts or skins, and you just be playing, and all the players would watch. And basically, the gist of it was you had to get inside the building. They only selected 3 people to get inside the building. So, this is the Atlanta tryout. This is like the Atlanta tryout. I mean, like, when I went there, it like literally looked like a high school just let out, And
it's the real deal, too.
It was the real deal
here, yeah.
But the deal was they had 3 wristbands, and only 3 people got wristbands, and I got one. We were playing. First of all, I was fresh out of WWE, so I was like 260 pounds. I was rock solid. So, and like I said, in my mid-20s, my jumping ability was ridiculous. So then you add that with adrenaline and fresh legs and motivation to do something in my life, other than wrestling. It was like literally I had a wristband within 15 minutes because we ran and somebody shot on my team and missed. It bricked off the back of the rim, and I caught it and just like monster dunked it. And it was one of those outside portable goals.
Mhm.
So I weighed 260 and I swung on a little bit, nearly broke, nearly like tipped over and stuff. I dunked on somebody. So they ran out, the game stopped. They gave me a wristband and everything. So I got in the building. And not only did I get in the building, I also would have been in the building as well in the slam dunk contest. I also won the slam dunk contest inside. So it was a pretty, and that's, and to lead up to my story, 2006, they put me in I'm in the video game and one mixtape tour for 2006 PlayStation 2.
That's awesome.
So
Well done.
That is
amazing.
awesome.
Obviously, you guys are athletes. You put a lot of time and effort into what you do. But you had mentioned earlier, Mark, about your grandfather being a high jumper, and it comes naturally. The only thing I think I'm good at is napping. So I'm trying to look into my family tree to see who else was really good at sleeping. That's what I got.
I'll give you a run for your money. I promise you that.
All right. That's fair.
Well, as I get older, I need to take more. I want to take more naps. You know, it seems like I need a bang drink to do anything nowadays.
I hear you, Mo. It was funny because when we were in LA in the Staples Center, and they were touching that. Mark was touching that thing that was 12-2. I think Orton looked over at me and was like, "Maven, why don't you touch it?" And I was like, "Man, I got my hamstring hurt."
So when did you guys meet? How did you guys become friends?
Just on the show, right?
The road. They're on the road. I was in HWA when you were in OV. You were in OVW for how long? Not long, right?
Yeah. Well, they moved, and see, O'Hare and I were in HWA for about 5 seconds, it seemed, and then they moved us to OVW, where at that time, like you mentioned, Batista, Cena, all those guys, Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, that whole. I mean, there was literally
Jamie Noble.
The next the next 5 years, 10 years 15 years of wrestling, stars were on in that little OVW class in just inside. It wasn't actually in Louisville. It was inside Indiana for the first time I was there. But then they moved. They had a new school that was in Louisville, But it was a good place to learn and stuff. Jim Cornette was a whack job, I thought.
Yeah, he was.
I think a lot of people still think that.
Mo, I mean, at the time, Mark and I are separated, I think, in age by a few months. I being, the older, damn it. But once you get on the road, you find, the people who are similar. And the most surprising thing you will ever realize, Kane's into video games and comic books. So Kane would ride with Stevie Richards and and that was their thing. Well, me and Mark being into at the time women and partying, we found each other quick.
Are you not into women and partying now? Or?
I told you I'm like you. I'm into napping.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
I feel the heart is willing, but it was an immediate friendship that formed between us. We just like being idiots together, and just two former athletes wrestling. We'd be on the road, riding down the road, just talking about how ridiculous the business we're in is.
We orchestrated the first internet rib. We ribbed the Marks. We ribbed the Mizarks.
We did. We orchestrated, me, Mark, and Orton orchestrated and I'm talking, when I say orchestrated, we had police with their sirens on. We acted like we were fighting. Where were we at?
But
Mark?
it got out of control, Maven. It got out of hand. What happened was it was in Kowloon's in Boston. All the wrestlers went there after the show in Boston. So we just wrestled there, and afterwards everyone was eating there, and me, you, and Orton were sitting at a table off to the side, and shit was winding down. I think we probably had some drinks in us, and I don't know what happened, but the internet was just kind of like really coming about, like the dirt sheets and stuff like that. So Orton and I were always like, there was like this one cheesy ass website called Wrestling Sexy Body. And literally we'd edge each other out every week. We get our fans, our rinky-dink set of fans to vote for us. Like, I think I edged them out one week, 89-87. Like, it was like literally that whack. Okay,
That's competition.
Wow.
So then we just got into the whole the whole we just wanted to rib the internet, because that's what was going on at the time. So we sat there, a cop was sitting down or asked Orton for an autograph, and we said, hey, if we walk out here, because there's a lot of fans out, all the fans knew that's where we were afterwards. So there was probably like 150, 200 fans outside
waiting for autographs.
If we orchestrate a little, like, we have some words and a little pushing and shoving, could you just break us up? He's like, yeah. He wanted to be a part of it. So the cop.
Oh, he was in it. He was so in on it.
Yeah. So the problem Orton took it too serious. Like he got too serious with it, and I fed off his energy. So he kind of stiffed me, so I stiffed him back, and I was like, oh, we're gonna fucking. So it got like we decided to get wild, but it was working way. But the only problem was there was like 10 cops out there, but only one cop knew what was up. So while Orton, so him and I start, we're walking through the sea of people, and all of a sudden, I turn around, he looks at me, and we just have some words, and we start shoving each other. Well, when the cop comes in to break us up and stuff, and then Maven, you came in to break us up as well, you two are the only ones that knows what's going on. So the other 9 cops see an altercation, and they see their cop trying to, fucking hold us. And the funniest thing about it was Orton and I had these bright ass like basketball warm-ups. Jumpsuits. Yeah. Because the night before I wrestled in Springfield, Mass. The Basketball Hall of Fame was there. So we went to a mall and we got a great like 2-for-1 buy. He got the I got the Boston Celtics. Bright ass green Boston Celtics.
He had baby blue. He had like the Tar Heels.
He had the baby blue Orlando Magic. Yeah. So
Mo, I got these pictures. I'll send you these pictures tomorrow.
We're wrestling. We're tussling and stuff, and the other cops see their one, their workmate getting kind of tussled around because Orton figures, well, the cop knows, so I'm gonna like struggle a little bit and maybe push him off and make him come back and get me. So as Orton's chucking the cop off him, the other cops think that Orton's like, assaulting the other cop. So they run over and they grab Orton. So Orton doesn't know that the other cops aren't in on it. So Orton starts struggling. And like, do you remember, Maven, you and I went around the side of the car? Because we were the getaway car. We all traveled together. We had a getaway, same car. And the plan was supposed to be that cop was supposed to drive Orton down the road to the gas station and drop him off.
Pick him up. Yeah.
Yes. So what happened was, like, you and I, we got to the car and we're like, oh, shit. Well, that went off pretty well. And just as we were talking, like trying to like we thought things were dying down, all of a sudden Orton broke free and came and got me again. And we had another melee. And
and then you somehow put me in a fucking chokehold.
I don't know how. I don't know. Yeah. I don't remember. I see the pictures. I gotta see the pictures.
I still have the pictures.
Attacking you, Maven, is just natural. You don't even think about it.
But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And Pat Patterson asked us the following week at TV. He goes, "You guys are friends. Why are you fighting?"
Yeah. Well, like you said, that was obviously pre-internet. I'll tell you what else was pre-internet that I wanted to get in before we get our next guest in a little bit. I get asked all the time about Evolution, and if I had a chance, to be in Evolution. And here's the story with my role in Evolution. They never once addressed it with me. I heard rumblings backstage that there was a chance I could be in it. As far as the office coming to me, never once. Never heard anything about it. We all knew that they were forming Evolution. Now, Mark, you had it a little bit different. Mark, you actually shot vignettes for it that you can still find on YouTube. Tell us how that went about.
They flew me to Stanford and basically they told me in a meeting, like, you're gonna be the 4th member of Evolution and stuff. And
at the time you were gonna be Batista.
Yeah.
You were gonna be Batista's role.
And like he kept getting injured. He kept tearing his tricep, and I think he tore it again. Like,
and at this time too, this was before Batista. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, nice.
Look at that. This was before Batista was the finished product that Dave would later become, and Dave became one of the best technical wrestling big men of all time. Dave did not start off one of the most technically wrestling big men of all time. Yeah. In fact, the psychology of it, he really struggled with for a while. Now you, on the other hand, I mean, you fit that. Like you would have seamlessly been perfect for Evolution. So Tell us.
It was just like this funny stories we were just telling. That the same reason those things were happening is the same reason basically why I didn't get why Triple H eventually kicked me out of the group. Like it was done. It was done, set in stone, and the problem was like the few house show loops leading up to it. Triple H wanted to get rent his Lincoln Town car, and he wanted to drive. And Ric Flair was in the front seat, of course, and then me and Orton were in the back. Now, no, Maven, you remember
Paul.
like our trips, like
I do.
You were the only one who could stomach us. Like one time Rosie, God bless his soul, Rosie tried riding with us, and he ride jumped in the first. He's like, I'm fucking out. You guys
I'm out.
Much. Cade, God rest his soul as well. Garrison Cade, like he hated. He was so like driving it. His hands were at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock on the steering wheel, and Orton was, like we'd see a cop up ahead, and Orton would try to like jiggle the wheel and like.
Yeah. Lindsay, imagine giving a 6-year-old imagine two 6-year-olds that weigh 250 and 265 pounds respectively that have money and are good looking and turning them loose, because that's what it was with these two.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, no.
So that that's what kind of happened. So and we'd be in the car rides, and Triple H wanted to talk about, like, we're gonna be the group now. Let's strategize. Let's talk about a game plan. And he started talking about like wrestling angles and stuff. And the thing that wasn't portrayed correctly on that whole evolution backstory they told about it was Triple H kept saying, yeah, me and Rick didn't want him in the group. We didn't feel it was a good fit. Yeah, we didn't feel it was a good fit. It wasn't anything to do with Ric Flair. It was just Triple H. Like, those car rides were probably horrible for him. Like he, basically, what turned into like, let's talk about hot tags and chain wrestling and stuff, turned into like Orton and I would tell like Ric Flair our stories from the night before, hanging out at the bar, or or playing weird games and stuff. Like,
and Flair ate them up. Flair loved those.
Flair loved it. Flair
Hunter wanted to
Marco Randall.
Yeah, Hunter wanted to talk wrestling 24/7.
Yeah, and it just turned into like we were both immature, very immature. We had fun and but like I suffered from it. Orton didn't suffer from it because he was Orton. It was in his blood. First of all, he's just an unreal one, probably the top 5 wrestlers of all time. He's ridiculously good. Third generation. I was, I basically was a great athlete who became a wrestler because, like I always say this and people hate it in the wrestling world, but like, if I had to choose between being a bench player, the 12th man on an NBA team, like literally the 12th who didn't play, I just stood up and clapped for when the starters came off of the bench. I'd rather be that than the heavyweight champion of WWE, hands down. I'd rather be a bench player in the NBA than be a WWE champion. And it just wasn't. That's my problem. Like they could see that the love wasn't there. So I suffered, and basically they split that evolution group up, and and I joke around a lot, how Triple H put the axe to it, but he had every right to. Like it was a professional business. We're athletes and we're entertainers and stuff, but attitude and shit matters. And Orton got away with it. I didn't. Simple as that.
I fall into the same category as you. In life, there's only 2 things you can always control, and that's attitude and effort. And Johnny Ace used to always tell me, Maven, why don't you get down to the ring, before the show, get in there with something you fit, and
perception's everything, Maven.
Work
perception's everything.
Yeah, he would be like, work on your craft, and I can call it what it was. I never did. I took for granted the spot I had. I never tried to get better in ring. I always knew that you let me go personality wise, in front of the camera, I'm going to shine. But at the height of my wrestling, I was a very average wrestler, and I have no problem admitting that. And that was because that's the effort I put into it. Like you, Mark, looking back, I wish I had done things different. I wish I'd have tried to work on my craft. I was never going to be, Eddie Guerrero or a chain wrestling genius, but I definitely could have worked on a lot of stuff. I didn't. and
absolutely.
we were having a good time.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And, that I just, I could have, he was right. Like perception is everything. And I just, like I said, I breezed by. Like I was at that in my 20s, late 20s. Like my athleticism was like, it was a crazy point. I look back now because it's, it's horribly hard to like jump and run and shit nowadays. But like, I look back at some old video, like I'll post these drop kick videos. Like it was effortless, like it's so effortless and it came so easy, and I just wish that's the only. I do have some regrets sometimes because I hit in Mexico, but all this malarkey turned into me going to Mexico and I blew up there, and I had a pretty good career. But sometimes I wish I would have done it in WWE, maybe stayed in Mexico for 3 or 4 years and then come back to WWE for the last run. But it just didn't work out that way. But whatever, I mean, Mexico was great. I had 12 years there, and they're all great years,
And there are a lot of options nowadays. You could have another run. Impact, AEW, MLW, GCW. Pick a W. You can go there.
Yeah.
Pick a W.
Yeah, I've been toying around. I wrestled my first shows a few weeks ago in El Paso and Laredo, Texas. There are lucha libre shows, so there's two different worlds. Now that I live in the United States here in Knoxville. There's a lot of shows that go on in the South here, Atlanta, the Carolinas and stuff. And I get asked to get booked a lot on these shows, but like in all these other W's you're talking about. But to be honest with you, like Mark Jindrak, like my career in WWE was okay, but it would have been obviously incredible if I was in Evolution, but it didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was mediocre. In my book, it was a mediocre wrestling career in WWE. And then I moved on to to Mexico and everything hit and but I just honestly, like it was just one of these things where a lot of people have regrets and stuff and are angry at WWE afterwards. I never really had a problem. I know I put it all on me. I messed up, but the great thing is when I went to Mexico, all the things I had done wrong, maybe if I was a little passive at times in WWE or like in Mexico, you have to root like heels, and there's no such thing as heels and baby faces, every man is for themselves. These paydays go on what position you're in on the card in Mexico. So, it was all about I learned how to get over. I learned how to get over in Mexico. Pure and simple. Just learned how to get over, and that's what I didn't know in WWE. And I knew if I ever came back to WWE, I knew I would know how to get over. It was a great run. And I did a lot of besides the wrestling, like I learned Spanish and I started doing a lot of acting and stuff there. And even now, like there's on one of the Telemundo or Unicable or something, like my soap opera is showing again. So I see reruns of these things, and I get these royalty checks from Mexico every few months too. So
Nice.
keep going.
Mark, yes or no? Yes or no? WWE or AEW or Impact calls you, wants you to give it another run, and I mean you have to give it 100%. They want to see what you got. Would you do it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just I don't know if I want to take it there again. Like these lucha libre shows, I can breeze by. Because Marco Corleone name is a lot stronger than the Mark Jindrak name. I had more success in Mexico. So when I do these lucha libre shows and these, I have a certain there's a certain flow of the match, and it's easy for me because I'm the good guy. I get my ass kicked at most of the match, and and I make a miraculous comeback, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. But here in the States, I don't want to fight with promoters over money when I'm getting paid 2 or 3 times more in Mexico.
Right.
And they put me in a match where some dude that wants to fucking try out suplexes on me all day, brother, I want to get this work on his overhead suplex. Brother, let me put it on you. Come on, brother. And you're like,
Yeah, I don't do that. That's what I just tell people. I don't do
And I
that.
don't want to do that because like, you know, I know what I can take and what I, you know, I know my parameters. Everyone knows my boundaries in lucha libre. You know, they know if they pull some shit like, hey, I'm gonna do this corkscrew fucking ruby doo, I'll flippity doo on you outside from the third rope. I'll be like, why? No, fucking no. I'm Marco Corleone. I said, fucking no. I own you. No.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, by the way, I think Phil's trying to get in. He said you sent us some spam. You sent some some bootleg link. So you might want to send him the same link you sent me. How I answered.
Okay.
Oh,
Let me try to Mo, which link should I send him?
The right one. If you want to send me his email, I can forward him the link. If you can get that.
Okay. Take me off real quick. Get me off of here.
With pleasure. This is
wow.
This is gonna be so good.
Thank goodness.
Oh man.
Yeah, maybe I can get a word in now.
So let me, I don't know how much you keep up with pop culture and whatnot, but if you see the Marvel movies, the DC movies now, the big thing is the multiverse and the alternate realities. Had you been an evolution, would this mean that you would have been Drax in all the Marvel movies?
I don't know. It's almost Drax is almost like JINDRAK. It's another play on words. No, I don't know. Like Batista he had it obviously, So, but it was my spot to lose, and I lost it. Immaturity got it, and it's pure and simple, Like athletically, I had it, the look, I had it, and it just didn't work out, I was goofing around too much, but the great thing about missed opportunities is the next time you get an opportunity, you don't let it slip through your fingers a second time. And my second opportunity came in Mexico. I went there in 2006 and stayed there to 2018, which included, we talked about TV shows. Like I was in big TV shows, where ratings, people talk about, I remember when I was wrestling in the States, Raw would do a 2.9 rating, and people are like, "Oh shit, we're fucking going up the ranks." Ooh, nice work, brother. When I was in the number one soap opera on primetime television in Mexico, and not everyone in Mexico had cable, so this was on free television, open television, and we were doing ratings like 34. 36, literally with a 56% share, literally over half of Mexico was watching this. And I had a catchphrase, how Arnold Schwarzenegger had, "I'll be back, hasta la vista, baby." I had a Spanish catchphrase where I used to threaten people and say, "Te voy a hacer picadillo," and that means I'm gonna fucking make chopped meat, boy.
Yeah.
And the way I said it was very peculiar. I said it with a really bad accent, but it hit with the way I said it hit like Arnold Schwarzenegger would say things in the United States, and because it was so widely watched, it ended up being my phrase. Every time I had a scene in it, I threatened people with that, nice. Just a normal dude, give me a fucking my change from a can of soda. I'm like, "Te voy a hacer picadillo." So it was awesome, to the point where anywhere I would go in Mexico, people started knowing me more for the TV shows than wrestling, because WWE in 2006, 2007, 2008, I blew up in wrestling, and it was on that same open television. But what happened in 2009, WWE kind of they entered the whole scene of things. And then all of a sudden it became well, why are we going to fucking watch the Mexican production where they're still using 1980s TV cameras when we can watch all these wild explosions and shit, oh my god, they're taking bumps through fire and shit, and WWE just kind of killed business a little bit. I still survived because of my TV appearances, so it didn't matter if they didn't see me wrestling, they still saw me more on these big TV shows. And and while these stars like John Cena and Randy Orton, and that was the new look for Mexico, that because they were being shown on WWE TV now, it still worked for me because I still had that same build, So, but it definitely, it was a great ride, and I was happy I went. I never have any regrets, and it could have turned out a lot worse. like that evolution thing, that whole little mini documentary, they act as if like, oh, I didn't get an evolution. Let me turn into a crackhead and fucking, you know, it didn't happen like that. You know, I struck out. I knew I struck out. July 5th, they released me like they released you. And then I started started spinning my wheels just like I did when I was 19, 20 years old, you know. That's where I got the N1. Like 3 weeks later, I did the N1. I didn't know what was coming from that. You know, nothing ever came from it. But you know, it was something that was maybe good for my confidence. Like, you know, like you're still, you know, remember you're still an elite athlete. You're like 3 weeks ago, you're a wrestler. Now you decided to be one of 3 guys that got selected out of 400 guys playing basketball. You know, like it did something for me. And then when I got the call from Mexico, it was, you know, it was meant to be. It was just meant to be. And you know, my wife is Mexican. She was born in Mexico. She's here with me in the United States. Yeah. My son was born in Mexico, you know, so I have so much history there, you know, like I said, like these big TV shows, these are classic TV shows that I got to be a part of. So when they replay, you know, one day I'll be 75 years old and it'll be on the fucking classic Mexican channel. So, you know, so
Mark, I'm the same way. The WWE, they released me the same day they released you. A month later, I had The Surreal Life booked, which, if anybody knows, that's the old VH1 reality show. From that led to me having my own. I had a show on BET. I had my own R&B show on BET, and then that parlayed into a hosting. I don't know how I got that. That parlayed.
That's awesome. I didn't know about the BET stuff. Yeah, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about that in the chat.
We will. And then that parlayed into me hosting for the Home Shopping Network, being their sports host for for 5 years. So like you, I took a bad situation and I made the best of it. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
And when you're young and you can make decisions like that. You can make rash decisions. You can do like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to Mexico, or fuck it, I'm going to Japan. And like my all the checks moving around would write, my athleticism would cash, because if I wanted to go to this company in Mexico, I could and stuff. And so, we would always find a way to get over in life, not just, so, and I always knew you'd be okay. You knew I'd be okay. We lost touch for a while, but
we
reconnected. Like we were in a autograph signing in Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
and
it was so hot.
I turn around and see Maven. I'm like, holy shit. And just like that, all the boys used to hang out with. One, Phil, he's supposed to get on the show here in a second.
Has Phil got on?
Phil is in limbo right now. I see that he's there, but I don't see any video from him.
Let me tell him to enter the studio.
Yeah, so he got us back. He got us back in the he got me back in our chat room. So myself and Maven and this guy Phil, you'll see in a second, and Jerome, another ex-NFL player. We all have we're pretty active on our text. Like it's wild stuff. It's top secret.
Inappropriate things you can't
not really.
Can't share.
Just like,
hey, real quick, Mo. I know Phil just said he got the booster shot. He's not Zoom ready. Is there a way to do audio?
Yeah, we can bring him in just audio. Yeah.
Okay. And just to introduce the guy that we're bringing in, I know when Devon, told me to help with the show, he said bring on other guests. I met Phil through Mark in WrestleMania in LA. Phil, former NFL. Yeah, I got you. I'm giving you your introduction. Shut up. Phil, former NFL football player. You are.
I can't hear you guys.
We can see you too. You look.
But he can't hear us apparently.
Oh,
there he is.
There we go. Can you hear us?
Former NFL. Yeah, go ahead. Keep giving him an intro. Yeah, obviously, you have a long intro for him.
Former NFL football player. He has now been a coach, wide receivers coach for several NFL teams. He's currently, this is his first year, he's going to be coaching for the University of Colorado. And we talk about just super athletes. Still, I believe, holds Massachusetts State, I think, high jump records. And just like, so.
I'll let JINDRAK at him. He'll beat him.
Yo, like this dude. This dude is another one of the best athletes, and probably if it wouldn't have been for football, what do you think, Mark? I think he'd have been right there with us for sure in the ring.
There were times where he was going to get.
He was going to try it, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to try it, or at least get Coachman was going to get him maybe do some reporting type stuff, backstage stuff.
Do we have him?
What's that? No, we don't have him, unfortunately. Oh, wait, he's coming right back. Let's
there
try
he
it
is.
again.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear it? You still can't hear us?
I can now. Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Yay!
I just gave you one of the best introductions talking about your athleticism and how I'm sandwiched in between you and Mark and two of the best athletes I've ever known. Phil, we all go way back.
Way back.
You, me, and JINDRAK, man. How you been, brother?
I've been good, man. Good. Just finished up a busy day coaching. We had a bunch of stuff going on today, so recruiting. I'm up about 5 a.m. and I kind of grinding it out and just finished my workout, and it's almost 7 o'clock, so it's time to shut it down, man.
Now tell us what a normal day is. Now, for those of you that don't know, Phil comes from the NFL world, player, coach, and now you're back in college where it all started. Tell us what a normal, quick 30 seconds. What's a normal average day for you?
You wake up real early because you want to get your workout in before everybody gets in the building, so you can also proof your work for your presentations. And it's just a quiet time. So usually really early, get in there and then get everything prepped. And then you would go through meetings all day and with the players and on the field stuff. So, and then recruiting. So it's just a lot of busy work, but it's an early day. It's a long day. Sometimes they can go to midnight. So it's just a lot of hours, but if you love it, it's not really work.
Right.
Phil, how does it feel being a better looking version of Maven?
Oh.
Gotta keep it real now.
He's known that for years.
Oh,
he has known that for years.
Unbelievable.
That's funny.
Now we all go back to I would say about like 2004. Phil, we were just talking about, had you not have gotten into coaching, had you not have transitioned coming from your NFL career, wrestling was a true option for you. And now
this is a good story.
Now
this is a good story. No, people don't know this story.
You want to tell it? I was going to say now you're into MMA and you do MMA training.
No,
but go ahead, tell the story.
No, that was interesting. So when I did get hurt and I was trying to rehab and still play, Mark had got me a couple of conversations with Johnny Ace, talking about going to Louisville,
you love your look,
this and that. So they got me recruited to the WWE. That is a real thing.
Wow.
Like that's fun. I remember that was actually some fun trips we had.
Yeah, you officially met with Johnny Ace
twice
in Greenville. Remember in Greenville?
Twice.
Yeah.
I actually met him 3 times.
Yeah.
We got into just even the disclosures of the injuries, and that's really kind of where it went. They weren't willing to cover the neck and the shoulder, which is realistic. I mean, those were what forced me out of my career. So that's for me. I had to do something else. So it just wasn't really a viable option, but it was fun to go through the process of that for sure.
It was fun meeting you out there in Birmingham physical rehabilitation.
Sure.
I gotta give Phil some credit real quick, Mo. When I actually take some of the credit. When he first got his job into coaching, and I'm not talking about the University of Maine, he was staying at my house. He was getting ready to do an interview the next day for the University of South Florida, and I see him putting binders together, and I'm talking about looks like a binder after binder. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, man, you can't just show up and say, hey, run an out route, run a 9 route. I got to be, prepared to show to how I'm going to develop these players. He's truly one of the best. Where's your favorite stop along the way been?
Oh man,
before Colorado.
It's so hard to say because the players make the jobs. So my time with the Dolphins was so special with having Jarvis Landry and Brian Hartline and Brandon Gibson and Mike Wallace and Rashard Matthews and all these guys that I just love so much. And then with the Chargers, you know, and I got the time with Zay Jones too at ECU and with the Bills. And then my time with the Chargers with Keenan and Mike and the boys out there. They're really all unique jobs. So, and it's about people. And so those connections with my people, that's really how I look at it.
All right,
Good
that's
answer.
fair. Now, when you were talking to Johnny Ace about the wrestling, did you ever get into discussions like what your character would be,
No.
like what the program would be? Are you gonna be stuck being Maven's partner or what?
No, no discussions about character development.
Okay, all right. And what would you want to
I
do?
would not. That wasn't for me.
No. Could have been the next Goldberg. You
Didn't
don't
even
know.
think
But
about
you
it.
know, it
Didn't
was
even
a
wanna
fun
think about it.
time to be courted, you know, in that fashion. So it was interesting, and I met a lot of
You know-
fun people. I met a lot of people in the wrestling business. You know, Jonathan Coachman's like a best friend of mine. It's like a brother to me. So you know, those things wouldn't have happened if I wasn't on those trips, the initial discussions.
Man, you made a lot of the trips too. You're on a lot of the trips.
A lot. A lot.
WrestleMania 21. You
Yep.
were there for the mainstay.
Sure was.
Absolutely.
And
Now
everybody treated you like you're one of the boys. Everybody treated you like one of the.
I
you were
was
one of the
allowed
wrestlers.
backstage. I was always
he had
backstage.
carte blanche. Carte blanche backstage. Now we were talking about Mark's high jumping ability. In your prime, who jumps higher, you or Mark?
Mark probably off the box, just off the two legs. I would say Mark, but off of one leg over a bar, you know, me.
Phil's technique probably. I wouldn't. You tell me to go dunk on an 11'8" rim, I could probably do it. But you tell him to jump over, 8 feet in the butt. It's different kind of hops.
It's different kind of hops. But
Yeah.
JINDRAK could really jump, man. He really could. And you know, I've been around some freakazoids, you know.
Yeah.
And he was one of them. So
Yeah.
you know, he had one of those like NFL like freaky, like one of the Watt brothers would be jumping, you know. Like, Mark was powerful. Mark was a powerful man.
Mo, you'll like this. You'll like this. So, Phil, I got to tell the New York story. I was working for. You'll remember. So Phil and I went out one night, and we let's just say we got into an altercation. That's not the story,
With
but
each
whoever
other?
it was, no, with a couple of people from town, and they threw a center block through my windshield. Phil offered to get it fixed, and he did. So I'm filming for BET in New York City, and Phil's bringing my truck back to me, and he comes and he watches my last hour of filming. And you were with one of the tight ends. Who was it?
Yeah, Dave Shaw.
Yes. And so we get done, and we're driving back. I'm driving him to his rental car, and we're in my truck, and I cut a guy off in traffic. The guy pulls in front of me, jumps out, flipping me off, and jumps out of his car like he was going to do something, until he realized I jumped out of my driver's seat, and at 6'2", 240 pounds, Phil and Dave jumped out, and I'm the small guy in the group. And at that point, he immediately, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man. You just cut me off," and I was just
got him.
Yeah.
When keeping it real goes wrong,
We're keeping it real goes wrong. So, Phil, I know we're coming towards the end, and I'm glad. I know it was quick, but I'm glad we could get you on. Tell us what to expect from Colorado football this year.
Well, we're gonna be a disciplined football team. We're gonna have toughness, energy, passion, effort, enthusiasm. Guys are gonna play hard. We coach them hard. We love them. We this is just a different energy here, and we're excited about the future. We're getting really, really good prospects, great recruits. So just really excited about the future. I mean, we really have an unbelievable staff, Mike Sanford. And we just have an awesome experience here, and people just care for one another. And, I've played for this head coach as a position coach. He was my coach when I was with the Broncos. I trust this guy. I love this guy. And so just being here with somebody who's protected you and developed you and mentored you and loved you for 20 years in this profession, that's a unique experience. And not having, my biological father in my life, people like Carl helped raise me into a man that I can be proud of today. So I'm excited about a lot of things here.
And one of the things that I've always known about you is just Mo, to give you a quick backstory.
Please.
I had a troubled family growing up, and his family one Christmas, embraced me and brought me into their home the entire Christmas, to the
Yeah.
point to where they even were. I had gifts, and I'm coming from somebody who my Christmas was usually spent by myself, no family, and his family to embrace me. You've made a difference in not only my life, but a lot of lives out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know you're a very, very
Yeah.
positive influence
I
on
am.
your players. What do you like? What's your favorite thing from developing, and not only an athlete, but developing the man?
Well,
What's your favorite thing about that?
I just feel like after you reach a certain level of attainment financially, like what's really left? So what can you do to impact others? So at an early age, we've all made a good living. So I just always believe that being uplifting and being positive and just loving my friends and being there in their darkest times, for a lot of people. So it's a lot of energy to be good friends with somebody. So I've just always wanted to make a difference. Like I just feel passionately about developing people and being there for all my friends and my family. And I think that's all you really have in this world is those types of connections.
Yeah, could not agree more. At the end of this run, we all take well, we lose everything eventually. So can you make a difference along
That's
the way?
what I feel. That's how I feel.
Can you be that positive difference in someone's life along the
Do you
way?
know the definition of the word coach comes from stagecoach, which is you take one object to another area that it was not going to be able to get to on its own. That's what the word coach comes from. It's from stagecoach. So we're taking human beings, and I really believe this, and bringing them to levels that they couldn't attain on their own. That's the passion behind coaching.
Wow, I did not expect to learn anything on this show today.
Yeah,
or feel inspired, but that's great. I love it. I absolutely.
This is just how I live. This is how I live my life. So
yeah,
if I'm going
this
to
is
come
every
on a
day
show,
for him.
if
This
I'm
is
going to
every
come on
day
a
for him.
show, then I'm going to tell you who I am, and this is what
That's
I feel.
Yeah.
So I don't waste time. I don't have a lot of time. So we can make yuck jokes about Maven's looks, or we could talk about life.
Mo,
We a little bit
yeah, we do both.
That's right. I love that.
Not this past season, but the season on Hard Knocks before, when it was the Chargers. They did two A block opens, and that man right there, Phil, was the open for two different episodes. And what you just heard, you got a longer rendition on HBO's Hard Knocks. And I'm telling you, this guy, he's not only meant a lot to me as a friend, but he's been there for me in my darkest times. And I love him for it.
And that's what makes us brothers. And I've had Rashad Evans has been there for me. The Hall of Famer in the UFC when I've been at my darkest time. So having you and Jerome Pathon, and you guys are my brothers for that. And I've hoped to lend my hand down at every time you guys needed help, without question. You always had a place to stay at my home. I look at you guys as brothers. We grew up together. So, we really did. And that's that's really what life is about.
No doubt.
That is great.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
I'm going to get going.
We are getting close to the end here. And I know, Phil, you've had a long day.
Yeah.
Mark, I know you've been sitting around all day waiting for us.
That
So it's not as big of a deal.
booster shot's killing me right now.
Yeah.
Over me.
My arm hurt for 2 days.
Oh my! I just got it on Monday. I got hit with a brick today.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you sign off first. Then,
love you, brother.
Phil.
Love you
If
too,
people
guys.
want to watch,
Thanks
if
a
they
lot.
want to follow you online on social, where can they do so?
At Phil McGagan.
All right. Nice and simple.
You'll figure it out.
Thank you so much for your time today,
Thank you, Phil.
Have a good one.
And then, of course, Mark, we appreciate all the stories. Wish we could keep the show going, but, we kind of keep things around. But you're welcome anytime you want on the show, brother. Come on back to Table Talk. If people want to find you online, where can they do so?
On Instagram, I think I'm JINDRAK1 or JINDRAK1, and I don't really know, but you know how to find it.
We'll find you. We'll find
Mark
you.
JINDRAK.
Maven, where are you at again on social?
Oh, yeah.
If they want to find me, I usually hit the Wall Street train station. I usually get off my train around I said, nah, I'm actually not on social media at all.
No.
I'm on LinkedIn, Maven Huffman, but I never really got into the social too much.
I kind of envy you for that.
That's not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you, I feel like the last guy to get polio the week before the vaccine came out. It was just I'm a tiny bit too old for it, I feel. Just a tiny bit.
Mark, is there any appearances you want to promote before we let you go?
No, nothing really.
Okay.
promote going to bed tonight early and waking up with grade some sports cards.
Nice. What's the best card that you've had to grade so far?
I graded this one. Well, I grade a lot of great cards, but conditions what we obviously
Right.
are grading on. I graded this one card, a Ben Roethlisberger rookie, and it was numbered to like 10, and it graded really well. It did like a 9.5 or a 10. Like it'd probably be like a $10,000 card, so it was ridiculous. But every day we see tons of cards pass through, and it's just I'm living a dream. I'm living a dream, man.
I have a whole box I have to go through soon, so I'm going to go ahead and just start bugging you. Like, what about this one? What about this one?
Yeah, man. You never know. And conditions. If you have something you think is worth something, like Jordans or anything Jordan, Gretzky, Brady, LeBron, like stay in that realm of players. Any of those, make sure they're protected and keep it in the best condition possible, because that's the next step. That's what I do. I grade them and authenticate it, and then you can flip them. It's a big business online. Big business. So just take a look. You might have some treasures in there. You
never know. I might actually have a Mark JINDRAK card. If I send it in, will you sign it?
Absolutely. I'll grade it. Fucking 10.
What's it get?
Huh?
What does it get?
A fucking 10.
Mark, thank you so much for your time today, man. We truly appreciate it.
Good talking with all you guys. And
thank you, Marky.
Good to meet you all. Okay.
Thank
you, man.
You take care, brother.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this up here?
Oh, no, that's a fun show.
Maybe everything going all right in your personal life. Do you need to come over for Christmas?
You know what? I do. No, everything's good. And like I said, my past is I'm open, completely about my past. I lost my birth mom at 2. My adopted parents divorced when I was 10, and it was just me and my mom, from that point on. And then, if you watch Tough Enough, you saw that she developed cancer at 48 years old, and I lost her in 2004. And when I lost her, I truly, at that point, had no family left. Yeah. And I would literally, and not feel sad about it, because I had the best childhood ever. She gave me the best life ever growing up, and I wouldn't change it for anything. There comes the waterworks.
Of course.
But I would spend Christmases alone, which I'm perfectly fine with being alone. And Phil, his family, he comes from a big family. And he knew I'd spent Christmas alone. He's like, just come up, stay with me. And his whole entire family embraced me like I was one of their own, and stuff like that. You don't forget, when people open their home to you when they don't have to, you don't forget that, and you appreciate it and truly cherish it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, before we wrap this up, are we able to promote? Do we have confirmation for next week?
We have confirmation. Yes, he is going to be on.
All right, tell us. Go ahead. Give us a big reveal.
We last week we're sandwiching it. Last week we had Brian Myers on. We're gonna have Matt Cardona on for the entire hour next week. And I'm excited because we're getting ready to. We're about a little over a month away from WrestleCon. So I know he's going to have a lot of stuff that he's going to want to promote and talk about. And
he's holding like 5 world titles right now.
Yeah.
The guy is like the hottest thing in wrestling right now. So great time.
And I don't know. Have you ever seen him in person?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's one of those human beings I don't stand next to, because he's just great looking guy, phenomenal physique. But as impressive of a physical specimen as he is, he's a nicer guy. He's just the nicest guy you could ever hope to meet. And like we were talking last week with Brian, he's one of the ones that changed wrestling for the better. You know, got it into a place to where,
he
you
was
know,
the
got
first to really power through that internet and get the internet to get over.
absolutely. And I know on one of his platforms, he has 2 million followers on one of his platforms, and just a $1 million smile. I'm very happy to call him a friend, and yeah, I look forward to it. I look forward to finding out just more about what makes him tick next week.
And trying to get a job from him, trying to get, he holds 5 world championships. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he can at least let me wrestle him for one of them.
yeah.
I'll tell him, let me wrestle you for the worst one.
Okay.
Whichever one's the shittiest. Let me
We'll
wrestle
ask
you
him
for
which
that.
one the worst one is.
Now wait a minute,
Sure
Murph.
he'll
That'll be
give us
good.
a non-diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
Hold on. You were talking about somebody having a lot of jobs. How many jobs do you have? I know you were talking.
I only have 2 right now.
Okay, this being one of them.
This being one of them. The other one,
okay.
I'm an executive producer for a radio show here in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
Which takes up a lot of my time now.
I'm sure it does.
It's nice to really just kind of be able to focus on these 2 items now. I used to do a lot more than I do. I mean, I still do some Comic-Con moderating here and there, but that's not as often as it used to be.
Well, you do have a voice that is, just, makes it'll stop people. It'll make people, want to hear, what's going on. You have a great voice, Lindsay. What do you have? What do you do other than this, Lindsay?
I am a veterinary nurse.
Get out of here
during the day at an emergency veterinary hospital.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I am an animal lover. I have 2. Right now, I have 2 rescue, a dog and a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to hear my cat? You know what my cat's name is?
Well, no.
Shits. Yeah, when I take her to the vet, they're like, "What's your cat's name?" Shits.
I've not met a cat with that name before. That's pretty. I bet they love that. When she gets outside, do you just call her name?
Yeah, shits. Well, what's even better is I have an all-white American Eskimo that when me and my girl got her, it was in 2011. Now, all white, we named her Isis.
Uh-huh.
I can't like now her name's Puppy. I was like, I can't be out.
Yeah,
I can't be at the park yelling, "You're so good, Isis," or "Isis, come here."
Or like screaming.
You only use that name when they're in trouble. Bad Isis.
Yeah, you're bad, Isis.
You're so bad.
Where is Isis? Isis.
Oh no! Has anybody seen Isis?
Yeah, has anybody seen Isis?
Talk about an unfortunate name there.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Love that, though. Yeah. All right, well, we're going to continue all of this next week. Again, Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder on Table Talk. We wish Devon the continued best. And
absolutely.
We once again thank you in advance, Maven, for stepping up next week and saving the show.
You have.
That's what I'm.